welcome everybody to another episode of Candid Convos, and today's guest is Matt Darner. Matt, thank you for joining us. Matt, can you please introduce yourself to our audience? Let them know the type of person you are, mainly like your profile, because we usually feature lawyers. I know you work with lawyers a lot, but yours is
That's
a
right.
little bit of a different profile. So can you tell us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely a different background. So yeah, Matt Darner, I'm the co-founder of a company named Collbox. So I've really always been in kind of the business development and sales world. So I come at this from a slightly different perspective. Very often on the sales side, working with different startups, tech companies, larger companies over the years as well. Leading sales teams, sometimes being a salesperson of one. So I know what it means to kind of drive revenue. So I definitely consult a lot with law firms on their kind of sales processes. That's not really what we do at Callbox, but I always, it's always interesting to see different perspectives on that. So yeah, longtime sales guy is the short way of saying it.
Mm-hmm. And well, now you're not only on sales, as you mentioned, you're one of the co-founders of the company, Callbox. And can you tell us what it does and how? Well, I can understand how your background led you to this, but I'm
Sure.
interested in learning what it is and what you do for other people and mainly other lawyers out there.
Yeah, of course. So at Callbox, it's an interesting thing. I think we really seized on this opportunity in 2015. So we've been around a little while. The short version of what we do is we take over all past due invoice or bill follow-up for law firms. So law firms are doing their great work. They're billing for their hours, tracking their time, billing hours, sending those bills out the door. And then no one's favorite part is what happens after that, right? So if they don't get paid immediately, which of course we always hope is the best case, and that happens a lot, but whose job is it to follow up afterwards? And unfortunately, in most kind of small to mid-sized law firms, that could be anyone, essentially anyone that doesn't say no. The attorney themselves often have to do it, which is a waste of their billable rates. Even the paralegals and assistants, that's not what they're trained in, firm administrators. So we really get in and we use a hybrid of technology and human touch. So what I've done is we've built this team where we build integrations with things like Clio and other legal practice management systems. And then we can automatically see when things go past due. So that's how we get the information, right? We see what's going on. But then what we've done is we've hired a team of people who do like making those phone calls that are trained in it. The crazy ones, as I like to call them, right? So accounts receivable clerks, people with that background. And we basically fractionalize those folks for the law firm. So something that I found really interesting when we were doing this research is like an AR clerk, someone trained in accounts receivable for like a larger company, makes anywhere from 50 to 60,000 a year, training, benefits, hiring. We all love hiring, right? Um, you guys know that. And so a big pain point that you solve for. And so that's what we do. So we found these people that are really good at that, but then through the use of technology, they can support, usually a couple dozen law firms actually. But that way we have all this technology and smart automation, but we don't lose that human touch. And when you're asking for money, especially when you're asking for money, you can't afford to lose that human touch. So that's what we do. We come in, it's a flat monthly fee. And then effectively the law firm gets an AR clerk, I think, for about a sixth of the cost of hiring a full-time person. So it's kind of an interesting little in the world of like technology and how sexy things can be when it's an app. Sure, we have some tech pieces there too, but at the end of the day, there's just good humans working on behalf of law firms so they can go back to being a law firm and not an accounts receivable firm. So
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but how I'm understanding your service, your company as well, is that, and this is also because I did my research, I did my study on this.
sure.
Would it be fair to say that you break the ice with some of the automations and some of the, let's say, non-human contact or touch points, and then you bring on the team, and that's where they actually break the ice, establish a relationship, and follow up until you get everything done?
That's right. Yeah, you did do your research. I appreciate it. So, because we haven't met before, so yeah, that's I didn't even get to seed you with the info. You did a great job on that. So, yeah, we what we do is a lot of the legal practice management systems have their flavor of email reminders, right? Bill reminders, past due reminders. We find that most of those are a little bit limited, right? And it's certainly not the only thing they focus on. They do so many things for law firms. Those are very complex products. So what we found is that, they aren't necessarily just out of bandwidth reasons, right? Constantly tweaking and finding the right messaging and tracking that sort of thing on those email reminders. So yeah, we definitely lead the way with some email reminders that almost function like a miniature statement. So remember, there's an integration there with the practice management system, so we can reflect the reality of the situation to the firm's client of, all open invoices, not just what's past due. So we could talk, as we get into this a little more about why people don't pay and what I've seen. But one of the reasons is sticker shock, right? They just get out of touch with what the costs are, the mounting legal costs for a matter. And at the end of the day, they just go, oh my God, I can't believe I owe that much money. And so our approach is kind of two parts. One, resend the bill. Of course, you need to do that. Just make sure they have access to the information, access to the payment instructions on all that good stuff. But then just here's where we are. Here's kind of the state of the matter, the open balances. And that can do a lot to reduce sticker shock down the road. And we just, nobody likes surprises, right? All of us have gotten this. Think about medical bills or something like that, right? Like, I just went to the doctor, I thought it was this, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's a huge surprise. No one likes that feeling. So we use the automation in a big way to kind of like, dot the I's, cross the T's, to make sure that they have the info, but also that like the statement, I think, is really, really, it's just a good best practice. So they don't, because they'll forget very easily. And then unfortunately, the law firms are going to be the ones to struggle to get paid if they get upset about the price, right? For all the
No,
hard work.
I like that. I like that feel good story because it's backed up with data, and the data tells me the same thing that you told in that story. Like those 3 points. Number one, takes a lot to bill, and there's a lot that I could be billing. Number
Right.
two, you don't know when you need it. Like you might actually have an emergency, like what's this case, or it's something that's going to directly impact you, your growth process, the people in your firm, utilities, all of that. And then
Right.
in the end, are you running a business or is the business running you? So
100%.
you're able to cover or tackle all of those points. Now I understand why people are happy. Uh, I'm wondering if there's anything that your future clients should also know about your system.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we had some, really great experience last year. We integrated with Clio. We launched that almost a year ago exactly. And got some love from them, which was super validating. They named us as a finalist for one of the best new apps in their ecosystem last year. We also have always integrated with things like QuickBooks Online, Xero, several others. But Clio was our first kind of practice management system that we built an integration for. It went wonderfully. This isn't publicly announced, but hey, you guys maybe can get the scoop on this. So we will be launching a smokeball integration this month. I'm not sure when this will air, but in the month of May, which is really exciting. And then, yeah, from there, we're just, we've got a roadmap of other practice management systems influenced a lot by, firms giving us feedback and tools that they use and love. Um, and then we speed up as fast as we can to get those out the door for everybody. So those are some fun things. We are going to be working on some of those features to just better arm you with the information of like how is it going. Of course, there's reporting in Callbox, but like that relationship between those different buckets we talked about, it
Mhm.
keeps me up at night. It really, and I know it keeps my attorney clients up at night too. And so there's some things like that we're cooking up, but always game to get feedback. And people can find me on LinkedIn. They can find me on Twitter. Um, look us up at callbox.co. But at the end of the day, let me know what you need too. Like we're big on listening. We've only gotten this far as a business by just bothering to listen to our clients. Like what a novel concept, right? Tell us what hurts and we'll see if we can do something about it, right? So